Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. Now, before we get into it, I'd just like to inform you about a new website selling quality current and retro Spurs jerseys, okjersey.com. They sell all current and retro Tottenham Hotspur shirts in all sizes. They sell the current fan and player versions, as well as the 80s and 90s retro shirts, including my very favourite, the 1991 FA Cup final shirt. You can order very easily from okjersey.com, and if you use the code Chris, you will receive an 8% discount off your final order. You can also use the QR code on the top left of your screen. And by the way, they also have some training wear here and the 25-26 colour special edition jersey. Hi everyone, hope you're well. My name is Chris Cowlin, and this is another edition of the Spurs Chat Podcast. In this edition, we'll be talking about another defeat for Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. Sunderland 1, Spurs 0. We now have 6 games to go of this 25-26 campaign. Spurs remain in the bottom 3. And I tell you what, if we perform like we did at the Stadium of Light today for these remaining 6 games, Spurs will be in the Championship next season. Now, will Roberto De Zerbi keep Spurs up in the Premier League? That is the question at the moment. Let me know how you are feeling right now. We are live on YouTube, live on X and Facebook. Let us know how you are feeling. Now, Spurs remain winless in 2026. 14 games played in the Premier League, just 5 draws, and the rest, the 9 games, finishing in defeat. Now, we've got 2 regulars with us. We've got John also, his first time here on the Spurs Chat Podcast. Let's say hello to everyone first. Craig, how are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I think that's all I can say at the moment.
Yep. I've run out of words as well. Ricky's also with us. Rick, how are you?
I'm here too, just about. Drama's getting into the app today, so it's my apologies first and foremost, Tottenham fans and the podcast fans for the delay in starting the misery of what is Tottenham Hotspur right now. But I'm here. Let's get through it together.
Now, John's here for the first time. John, of course, has been on a couple of fan shows, but John, first time on the podcast. How are you?
That's like Groundhog Day again, isn't it? Same, different manager, same outcome.
Yep.
Pretty much. So, yeah, looking forward to getting started anyway. Get stuck into this.
Right, let's get straight into it. I'll come to you in a second, John. So let's get into it. Sunderland 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Spurs remain 18th in the Premier League after, of course, West Ham beat Wolves 4-0 on Friday evening. Now, the match facts and stats: Sunderland 52.5% of the ball to Tottenham's 47.5%. XG Sunderland 1.79 to Tottenham's 0.91. Shots, Sunderland had 13, Spurs had 11. Shots on target, Sunderland only 2, Tottenham Hotspur 7. Total touches inside the opposition box, Sunderland 21, Spurs 26. Goalkeeper saves, Sunderland 7, Spurs 1. Aerial duels 1, Sunderland 4, Spurs 12. Fouls committed, Sunderland 14, Spurs 15. And corners, the hosts had 2, Tottenham Hotspur had 6. John, let's start the show with you. What did you make of today's performance and, of course, today's result?
Performance-wise, I was a bit surprised with this selection, particularly in midfield. Bearing in mind, he'd said this week he'd been working a lot. He'd been working a lot with players and what have you, particularly to say the front 3. He'd been working with Matthias Tell, for example, and he didn't start. But the midfield 3, I was concerned a little bit about that, and we were very cautious. We got in a couple of times, I think, in the first half, but it's very toothless. There's no cohesion playing through the lines. They're all like different departments, really. And the outcome was pretty inevitable, wasn't it? Longer it went on, I didn't really feel as though we were going to get back in the game. I did think when we did concede, I thought it would have been good for him to bring on Simons then to open them up a little bit, because we had no creativity at all. But we didn't do that. And we kind of just sort of accepted it. It's just another defeat, tick it off, just accepted it. And this continuation of just poor performance, no one takes responsibility. I find as well with no one wants the ball, or they do, it's in an area where we're not under any pressure. Take Conor Gallagher, for example. He might have a lot of touches, but he has it in areas that are just so ineffective. He might take it from the left back in that area, or he'll take it from the right back in there, and just play a square pass or that. There's no one that really holds their hand up and just drives it forward and drives the team forward. Overall, disappointed, not surprised. Let's see what we can do. I mean, let's see what happens this week in terms of the training and how we set up against Brighton, but they're the form team, aren't they, in the league? They're going to relish coming to us, I think, particularly De Zerbi's manager.
John, talking to you off air before we went live, you said that you were expecting Spurs to deliver today and win. Now, I've been expecting us to turn a corner at some point in the last couple of months, particularly under a new manager in Igor Tudor and now a new manager in Roberto De Zerbi. Are you somewhat surprised? Did you see what you wanted to see from this Spurs team under yet another new manager, third manager this season?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't see anything different at all. I thought, given what happened we've been there, 7-8 days in training, the positives that were coming out, the players' reactions, really excited to be working under him, working on 1-2 touch football in training, getting a smile back on the faces, and you're thinking, okay, coupled with our record at Sunderland is pretty good, and where they are in the league, given the fact that, okay, they lost the last 3 at home, they beat Newcastle last time out away, but they're pretty safe in where they're at. It's a good time to play them, to go there. But there wasn't any of that drive, that willingness to put your body on the line, to fight. It's stuck in. It's so half-hearted. It's like the players are just resigned to, we're going down. We're going down. The fans will suffer, but I'm going to another club in the summer, so see you later. Type of mentality. Like, I don't like the mentality is horrendous down there as well. What I would say though is I thought the goalkeeper, he did all right.
Yeah,
I thought the goalkeeper did all right, to be fair, given obviously last time he played for us, but very assured, good handling, good with his feet, made a couple of good saves. Fair play to him. But apart from that, I'm not. And Romero crying, is that because he's going to miss the World Cup? It's not because we're going down, is it?
Yeah, there's a lot to get into there, John. I'll come back to you on some of those points throughout the show. And we'll also be rating the players out of 100 as well. Craig, let's get your thoughts on today's defeat.
Yeah, echo a lot of what John said, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure about the lineup after everything we'd heard during the week. Surprised to see certain players left out, which I know we'll come on to. But we looked okay in that first 5-10 minutes. But ultimately, you take the game as a whole, I didn't really see much difference between Frank and Tudor.
Can I just interrupt you there? Because the amount of people that I've spoke to today, particularly after the game, walking back to the car, the amount of people who said, I thought we did all right in the first half. Is this where we're at? That is acceptable to be all right? That's all I've heard all day. We were all right.
It is. We didn't concede. I think that's the only thing, because we've conceded in the first half. I don't know the stat, but we went in level at the break 0-0. So, I mean, look, De Zerbi hasn't had long to work with these players, and he will probably only now, after seeing the first game, see the work he's got to do to get this team at least challenging anybody, let alone somebody like Sunderland, who've done well and have got a good home record, and the likes of when we go to Wolves and play Leeds, and it doesn't really matter who we're playing, to be honest with you. It's the club has been in freefall for months now. Bad decision after bad decision. Should never have hired Thomas Frank. A lot of us could see the cracks early doors, September, October sort of time. And the club did nothing. And they let it run. They didn't back anybody in the transfer window. Whatever they were thinking about the managerial situation in January, I don't know. But, to have Kulusevski, Kulusevski's going to be out for a long time. Maddison's going to be out for a long time. Yeah, you brought in Javi Simmons, but you didn't replace Heung-min Son. You didn't replace Brennan Johnson. And you lose Mohamed Kudus amongst a lot of other players in January, and they did nothing. Langer did nothing, and then he gave that pathetic rap after the transfer window, saying that roughly and I'm paraphrasing, but don't panic buy anybody. Players are coming back. Well, it's coming back to bite you somewhere, Johan, and that's straight on the arse, because you're made to look a bit of a fool now, because we all know, we could all see it, and that's the thing for me. That's the frustrating thing. The fans could see this before Christmas. The fans could see this before Christmas, and they did nothing. Total dereliction of duty. Well, I'll tell you what, Enoch. I'll tell you what, Johan. I'll tell you what, Vinay. They're coming home to roost now. It's going to bite you for the rest of the summer now and into next season, because we are going down. There is no way we get out of this. I'm telling you, I've given up. Absolutely given up. I cannot see a way we get out of this, and it pains me to say, it really does. But you reap what you sow. You get what you deserve, and I'm just done, absolutely done. And Johan Langer, my God, you're the director of football. You should be bringing in players. You should be bringing in people. You could have seen. Could you not see it with your own eyes, the trouble we were in January, and you did nothing? You sold our top scorer and bought in Conor Gallagher and a 19-year-old Brazilian with no Premier League experience. Oh, my God. It's just beggars belief, the mismanagement of this football club, the misownership of this football club, thinking you can get away with it year after year after year, and now see what's happened. And I will tell you this now, and I've said it before, if Daniel Levy was still in charge, and I wasn't a massive Daniel Levy fan, but he would have seen this coming. He would have got rid of Frank in October, November time, and we would not be in this position if Daniel Levy was still in charge. I guarantee you that. So the people on the board, the people running the club, hang your heads in shame, because this is your fault. This is on your watch.
Craig, I know it's another throw of the dice of appointing Roberto De Zerbi, and of course he's signed a 5-year deal. Is there a part of you that thinks that he could turn it around in these remaining 6 games? Because I know that for the last few weeks, certainly you've been saying to us that you think that Spurs will go down. And of course, it is another defeat today. And also, John, give me a quick yes or no. Do you think we're going down?
Yeah.
So, Craig, is there any part of you that, I know we're all sitting here hopeful as Spurs fans that we're going to turn it around, but is there a part of you that thinks that De Zerbi can get results from this squad?
Look, a small part that he can work a miracle, but that's what it would be at this point. It would be a miracle. I just, you see it with your own eyes. I just can't see any way we get more points. And it's not about getting to a number now. I know we all say 3 more wins, 3 wins and a draw, whatever. I can't see us getting more points than West Ham, Leeds and Forest. Forest have pulled away from us by another point today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 18 points now to play for.
Yeah.
No, I just can't see it. I really hope I'm wrong, but I just think the writing's on the wall now. I really do. And I think the players think that as well. I just don't see that belief that they can get out of it. Whereas I do see it with teams like West Ham. I do see it with teams like Leeds. It's, not good.
We haven't won a Premier League game now for 105 days. And of course, it was in December 2025. And the biggest worry for me are these stats I'm going to read you here. Now, the 14 games that we've played, as I said earlier, 14 games in the calendar year of 2026, we've only drawn 5 games. We've picked up 5 points. The teams in and around us at the moment, West Ham United, they have picked up a staggering 18 points when we've picked up 5. They've won 5 games, they've drawn 3. Leeds United, they have picked up 15 points, 3 wins, 6 draws. And Nottingham Forest, as you just mentioned, they drew 1-1 today against Aston Villa. They've also picked up 15 points, 3 wins, 6 draws. That is staggering compared to Tottenham's, just 5 points. And, are we going to turn this around in these remaining 6 games? I'm certainly hoping so. But, from what we saw today, and from what we've seen under Igor Tudor and indeed Thomas Frank, everything tells you that, Spurs are on their way down. Ricky, let's bring you in. What did you make of today's game?
Hey, mate. It was another opportunity for Tottenham to do something, to turn the ship, or to go in the right direction, to put some, like you saying, some belief, some confidence, some energy into this fight. And it was another missed opportunity, my friend. My heart was broken, absolutely broken after Nottingham Forest. We've had many a game. Like we could go back. I've been on the show most of the games. You know, Fulham, Palace. There's many a time that we should have got over the line. The West Ham game, the Brentford second at their house, Brentford away, holding on for a 0-0 draw. You can go through it. It's been relegation we've been playing relegation style football the whole season, and now we're in the relegation zone, and we are have the best relegation form going as well. Like, if you was a betting man and you was putting on your Raka, you would put whatever team Tottenham are up against, you'd put them to lose. Do you know what I mean? We've had teams that have been in bad form and come and got the 3 points at Tottenham that have spurred, quote unquote, spurred them on. Every single team down in that bottom fight has been able to pick up points off of us. We haven't been able to beat anybody above us. We haven't been able to beat anybody below us, my friend. And, you know, when it came to that Nottingham Forest game, like I said, after the parade, after the G-up, after Atletico Madrid finally playing some football for 95 minutes, they played football in that game. You kind of go, all right, fine, let's go. And, you know, the way that they collapsed against Forest, I think that was the last hope. And, you know, I was heartbroken and I was over it. And I didn't want to give him another chance. But De Zerbi comes in, and after giving it a few days and listening to what he had to say, I actually have been encouraged and been impressed with what I've been hearing. Yep. But I didn't want to get overconfident. I didn't want to get overexcited. You know how I am, Chris. It doesn't take me much to start up the positivity train again. But so I was just holding myself, and I was like, you know what? It's great. These words are great, but I'm done with words. I need to see action. And today was one of those days. Yes, you know, I echo exactly what John and Craig have previously said about everything that they've said. But them boys, you go in today, you know, with a proper manager behind you, with a renewed focus. It's almost like the slate has been wiped clean. We're looking, quote unquote, looking to play forward, front-footed football, attacking, but with spirit, but with heart, but with desire. You know, Romero done an interview earlier today that came out today, and he was saying, you know, he was reiterating what the manager was saying in the sense of, we want to be the protagonists of this game. We want to affect the game. We want to make sure that we deserve the support from the fans rather than just calling on them. So today was an opportunity. And, you know, ultimately, no matter what I say on a positive flex, and I'll give you a couple just for, you know, for the sake of it. But ultimately we lost, and ultimately we threw that opportunity away. We threw 11 minutes of extra time away. You know, we couldn't be the protagonist in our own story right now. It does seem like everything has been drained from them. They've been broken all season. You know, they've fallen off of a cliff 4 times, and this is the 5th time that they're trying to pick themselves up. And you can see it, man. You can see that the once something starts to go against them, it just starts dropping. They just, all their energy, all their belief, all the kind of things that they've been training, it just starts to drop off of them. And that's ultimately what happened today. When it comes down to a positive, there was a lot more forward. I mean, you know, I don't know how many shots on goal we had, but I know you went through it just there. But we did have forward passes. We were looking to play the ball quickly. I felt that Kinski actually showed us about his footwork today. There was a couple of nice saves from him. We encouraged them, though. We encouraged them in that first half to take shots, and we was lucky in for the majority of it that their shots wasn't on target. But you could see, you know, there was a couple of spots, and the way that we started was good. We had 2-3 opportunities really early on, and it went down Richarlison's side. And it was that thing that we was hearing about this week where they play so that there's a spare man. on one of the wings. There'd be a spare man. They'd draw everybody close, and then there'd be a spare man. Get it out to the spare man, get a shot out on goal. And Richie, my goodness, I can't remember who was talking about relegation form Richie. But my goodness, today when he was running, it just looked like he was wearing a wet tracksuit. Everything that went through him broke down, whether it was a dribble, a pass. Every single shot on goal today was weak, was half-hearted. I really wanted Tell to start today. I really wanted that 4-2-3-1 today. But anyway, we did have a couple of those opportunities, but every time that we didn't capitalize on it, and it was really important that we scored first and we scored early to get that energy going. And as soon as that didn't happen, like Craig was saying there, we're pulling at straws. It was it became an all right first half. We didn't concede, and that's what we could take from it. But there were moves. They were trying to play through the middle. They were trying to play forward. But it was just too... it's like that first touch. The first touch is off, or they start stumbling or falling over each other. And it was just another breakdown, man. And it just got into that second half. Like Craig said there, I mean, I wanted Xavi to start today. But the fact that we put him on with 5 minutes to go. Yes, we had 11 minutes extra time, but with 5 minutes to go, Gallagher done nothing all game. I can't believe that Gallagher's the one that we brought in during January. We've given him one of the highest wages, and he looks like one of the worst signings right now. I haven't seen anything that I would say would be a good reason why we bought him or the best of Gallagher. I don't really see what he brings to the team. You could talk about leadership qualities maybe, but if you're not leading by example, then what's the point?
Is that top earner, by the way, Rick?
There you go, top earner. So in the sea of change, Gallagher, out of everyone, Gallagher is our top earner. We didn't want to pay the 50 mil for Akliush when we could have got him. Now we've got no chance, absolutely no chance of getting anybody of quality. They're going to have to overpay for everything if we somehow stay in this league. But the way that it's going, the way that it's looking, Chris, we're going down, and the way that we've been throughout the season, we're deserved relegation candidates. We deserve to be there. We haven't stepped up at any point or purpose along this long horrific season. And today was another missed opportunity and another kick in the gut. And I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to get up and clap them along. And I give all the respect to you, Chris, and all the away fans that do this. The season ticket holders that do it every week, week in, week out. Because my goodness, it's heartbreaking to see where we are, and that almost a year ago, just under a year ago, we was lifting a trophy. Do you know what I mean? And we're here. We got that monkey off of our back, and then we're here. We're gonna let West Ham relegate us, in a season where the only thing that we could cheer about is if the Gooners bottle it again. What are we doing here? I don't know, Chris. I don't know, mate.
Ricky, I've got a lot to come back to you on, but let me just ask you here: do you think we are going to go down? Yes or no? And also, who are the players at the moment that Spurs and particularly Roberto De Zerbi can really rely on? Who is going to put their body on the line and make sure that Spurs perform better in the remaining 6 games to try and keep Premier League survival?
It's tough, mate, because we've never really had 2 to 3 games where we've seen a player in form. So, in proper form, because the whole team has been not that great. So, who's he got to rely on? I think someone that, I know he didn't do as well as he could have done, but there were some bright moments. But someone like Porro, who's kind of like a diehard of the cause, like his character. Yes, he hasn't had the greatest of forms, but his character, he's one that I think that could be there for it. Archie Gray, I think, is another one that's got the character for it. Matisse Tell, I think he's got character. And I do think Xavi, if you put him in there and you put him in the 10, which all of us were crying out for against Nottingham Forest, and you would think that De Zerbi's first game, you put your quote-unquote best player available in the rightful position and you go for it. But yeah, I think he can rely on him. But it's I just see the whole squad pretty much broken, bro. They're just broken. They're broken. They're heartbroken. Like, their belief is gone. Their heart's gone. And I do think De Zerbi can reinvigorate. I do think we will see a different style in football and a bit of a turnaround. But I think it's too late. I think it's too late. Myself and Craig was on after Atletico Madrid, the first leg. And we were saying then, you know, Tudor should have gone that night, you know, if not the next day. And I said then to Craig, I said, like, look, really and truly, what should happen is he should go tonight. But what's going to happen is that they're going to hold on into the point where it's gone past. It's another 2 losses. And it's gone past Nottingham Forest, and then they're going to make the move. They're going to do it, but they're going to do it when there's no other option, and they're going to go a different direction, and when it's almost too late again. So it's another too little, too late move, mate. But I do think that he is a good manager. I do think after listening to him, and we've got to remember with De Zerbi, he's only giving us 10% of who he is, what his philosophy is, etc., because he's trying to get us out of this hole, right? He said it already. He can't bombard them with any more information or confusion. He's trying to keep it simple. So we're only seeing a small tester of him, but I do think we will see a turnaround in football, style of football, and I like going into next year, whichever division we're in. I think he will be good for us. But
do you think he'll stay?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll stay on? If we go down, do you think he'll stay?
I think you know what. So short answer, Johnny. I think yes, and I'll tell you why. Because I think he's a man of his word, and I think he's a man of character. And the only reason I say that is because I'd done a deep dive reluctantly, because I didn't want to do another deep dive on a manager and start listening to him from other clubs and podcasts and stuff like that. But while he was at Marseille, he done an interview with Guillaume Balaguer, and really interesting interview. But he spoke about not only his love for football, but his love for the fans and being at somewhere like Marseille. He felt that they was a really special club, and he wanted to give the best to them. And the way that he spoke about Marseille, I just thought, you know what, you're a man of your word. So he's said it a couple of times already. The journalists have asked him if he's going to stay on if we go down, and he said yes. He basically said, if I sign my contract in April, then I'm not going to leave in the summer. He would be well within his rights too. I think that he's a really good man. I think the first time that a big side sacks a manager next year in the Premier League, that they'll be sniffing around De Zerbi and try and get him out of us. But I think that he would, you know, I think he'll look at it and go, all right, and cool. I'll knock it all to the ground and start from scratch, and rebuild it from absolute nothing. So that I do. I think he'll stay with us just because I think that he's a man of his word.
Before we go any further, Craig, do you want to answer that question? Do you think De Zerbi would stay if Spurs were to get relegated? Because I think if I was to answer that, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him go out the door, or even to stay on Premier League wages in the Championship.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've spoken about this before, haven't we, privately? And I don't know. Can I see De Zerbi managing us in the Championship? He seems like he wants to manage at the highest level, and I could probably see both happening, even though both couldn't happen. I don't know. I don't know. Brutally honest, it would just be weird to see him managing Spurs in the Championship. I mean, I'd like to think he would. But I could also see him going. I genuinely don't know. It depends. I mean, has he got a clause in his contract where his wages get reduced like the players do? That would be grossly unfair on him, you'd think, because he ain't got us into this mess. But
I doubt it because they so desperately wanted him to come.
Yeah.
Did they go for him prior to Tudor?
Yeah, but so
thinking, was it literally a case of we've gone for De Zerbi, so I've sacked Thomas Frank, we've gone for De Zerbi, he's gone no, okay, we've got Tudor in, that's not worked out, we've gone back to De Zerbi and just thrown money at him and goes, do you know what? There's a get out if we go down. Is that it? And you can just walk away and go, well, it weren't my fault we got relegated. I was only there for 7 games. I don't know. Is it? Or is he?
From what we understand, John, and from what De Zerbi said in his first interview with the club, he said that, whatever, wherever we are next season, and whether it be in the Championship or the Premier League, he will be here as Spurs manager next season. But of course, I don't think any manager on this planet are going to say in their first interview, "Oh, by the way, if we do get relegated, I'm off." So I think he said the right thing, and I think he said the thing that everyone would expect him to say. But we know how different things can be, especially in transfer windows. If Spurs did go down to the Championship and De Zerbi wanted X, Y, and Z players in, and Spurs, are not willing to get those players in the transfer window, then things could go a different route. We know how these things work. We've been through so many different managers. Recording these podcasts week by week, talking about all of these different managers again and again. It's just, honestly, it feels like we're going around in circles. I don't think there's anything that Craig, Ricky and I haven't spoken about on these podcasts, to be honest, John. It's nice to have a guest on here, for the first time to talk about new things. So keep throwing those questions in, John. That's fine. Right, before we get on to the starting 11, which I know that all of us want to talk about, and I'm sure all of us want to talk about, why Javi Simmons hasn't started again a Premier League game under another new manager. Just want to tell you about this brand new app, Fanalysis. Some of you might already know that I'm on the Fanalysis app, which is the new home for football, and I'd like you to get involved as the viewers. Now, the Fanalysis app is free to download. Just use the QR code on the screen or in the link in the video description, and make sure you follow me on there. My handle on there is @ChrisCowlin. Now, as you know, certain social media platforms are horrendous to be on at the moment. There's a lot of hate and bots, and it's always a nightmare to see the club hashtag getting invaded when it comes to talking about Spurs. Fanalysis has personalised hubs for each fan base, and I'd love to fill in the Spurs one with more of you guys. So on the app, you can rate the players, which we're going to do in a second. You can rate the manager and even the referee, and we have a lot to talk about the referee today as well. There's also a fun feed on there, as well as polls to get the consensus of diehard Spurs fans, and only the Spurs fans can vote on them. And I've actually just put a poll on there on the Spurs page, so you can get over there and vote on it. And the question is, can Roberto De Zerbi save Tottenham Hotspur from relegation? Now, John, let's start with you, because we're going to go through the starting 11 and then we're going to rate all of the players. Now, what did you make of the starting 11?
Wait, Chris. I need to know something. Bring Fanalysis back. Bring Fanalysis back, bro. Because is this an avatar of you? Or is this a generic avatar? Because
apparently
we need to go back. Nah. I'm not having that, brother. I'm not having that. What is that fan's name that brings the Funko Pops, bro? I can't remember her name, but they need to employ her. What is her name? She's such a lovely lady. Do you know what? She's made a little mini Ricky Norwood as well, a Funko Pop Ricky Norwood as well. They need to employ her, all right, to sort out this logo, bro, because I don't know who that is. Do you know what I mean? It's got your name underneath it. They need to sort that out, mate. They need to sort it out. Come on.
I had nothing to do with it. Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
All right, I just had to clarify. Do you know what I mean? It was burning me. I was letting you do your whole spiel and everything. We're talking about rating players. Let me rate the emoji. 2 out of 10, all right? Let me sort that out. Sort it out.
John, let's come to you first. What did you make of the starting 11 today? This is Roberto De Zerbi's first starting 11 as Tottenham Hotspur head coach. Kinski in goal. Obviously, Vicario just had surgery. So it was too soon for him to come back. So Kinski in goal. In number order, Richarlison, Udogie, Gray, Bergvall, Romero as captain, Solanke, Gallagher, Pedro Porro, Van der Ven, and Cowlin Mawani. The sub-bench today, Austin, Dragusin, Danso, Polinia, Javi Simmons, Basuma, Tell, Spence, and Sarr. What do you make of the starting 11, John?
I would have preferred to see Xavi and Polinia start instead of Gray and Bergvall. But apart from that, really got much. I think Sarr, they said, was carrying an injury, wasn't he? And maybe would have had Tell in there for Cowlin Mawani. I'm not his biggest fan, so I'd probably had Tell in as well instead of Cowlin Mawani, given what they were talking about in the week as well. How he's been working with him and doesn't put him in. But so that's what I would have done. So I thought we'd get overrun in midfield. I don't think the Gray Bergvall thing is. I don't know how it works. Gallagher, he's not been great. He's not been great at all. He's not hit those heights, particularly when he was like at Chelsea. He wasn't particularly great at Atletico Madrid, and he's not been very good for us as well. I don't really know why he's earned a start in there. But then again, it's the new manager, so you wanted to see him. We might have got a reaction again from him, but it didn't. It seemed all a bit like samey midfield three, and they would overrun that with their three in there. So disappointed. I thought we could have started particularly with Polinia and Xavi for sure.
Mm-hmm. Craig, do you want to add anything to that?
I would have liked to have seen Tell start. I'd like to have seen Xavi start and Polinia myself. Very strange, actually. During the week, De Zerbi was saying how much he rated the likes of Tell and Xavi as well, and didn't play him. What I thought was a bit odd was the fact that not that he started Richarlison, because I think Richarlison is, I've said before, one of the players that you want in a battle, but I don't think Richarlison on the left wing is a De Zerbi type fit. He likes fast wingers, like when like for Mitoma at Brighton, for example, and Richarlison is not a fast winger. Yep. Say you want about Cowlin Mawani, he is fast. I mean, I don't think he's very good. But for me, one of those two Tell should have started over both of those. I think Xavi should have been in the number 10 role. I'm not sure. I don't think Bergvall had a brilliant game today. And Gallagher, Christ, we're paying him £200,000 a week, and he was actually in his proper position today. I'm not sure what he did. I'd have preferred to see Polinia in there with Gray over Gallagher.
What does Javi Simmons need to do, Craig, to actually get a starting position in this team? Because, like I said a couple of minutes ago, under 3 managers this season, none of the managers really seem to have fancied playing him and giving him the game time that he probably does deserve. And he was meant to be our star signing in the summer. Yeah,
very strange, isn't it? I know he's blown hot and cold in the games we have seen him play, and we've said on here that he's a bit lightweight. You see his white shirt at the end of the game looks green because he's been felled to the ground a lot. But he's got to get that as a player that runs with the ball. I just think he brings you something a bit more different, that bit of creativity. But it does worry me that 3 managers now haven't fancied Javi Simmons, and they see him day in and day out in training, and we don't, of course. And all the training you see on YouTube or whatever is very, very closely hand-picked and sanitized and everything. So we don't really get to see the proper training sessions. So it just says to me that he's not actually doing it in training for some reason. Under 3 managers now, 3 managers, different styles of play are not liking what they see from Javi Simmons, which is a worry, to be honest.
Ricky, anything you'd like to add on the starting 11?
Just on the point that Craig was talking about there, just with Xavi, another way of looking at it is maybe a manager is looking at our situation and going, let me go as solid as I can. And Xavi, yes, he works hard at times, we've seen it, but would almost be deemed as a luxury player. Maybe. I'm just giving another side to that same argument. So instead of him being bad in training or whatever, it might just be, you know what, I need somebody, I need a solid midfield. I need us to make sure that we are strong all over. And by doing that, we get rid of the creativity that we desperately need, but trying to go solid first and then bring him on in the second half and maybe have an impact. So maybe that's the other side of it, rather than he's not fancied in that sense. But no, at the same time, it is a worrying state to kind of see most of these managers not really play him in the right position, or allow him time to kind of actually catch form, because he should have started after that Atletico Madrid game, the second leg at home. He should have started against Nottingham Forest. He was in form. He played fantastic against Atletico Madrid. Yes, it was Champions League. Yes, it's a different pace, etc. But it's still high profile, high caliber opposition. And he was running things. And he should have started the next game because he deserved to. And he didn't. So that knocks a player as well. Yeah. So there's loads of little issues there. But I think we need to be playing him. I think Tell has been another one that's been one that is, no one's in form, but one that is always trying to make stuff happen. Not everything comes off, but he is energetic. He's got more pace, like Craig was saying there about the left winger, that Matoma and stuff like that. But he's got more of that. He's got more of a quick cross as well, in the sense of like, he doesn't have to get to the byline and make it happen. Sometimes he'll do a little shift and go, you know what, let me just ping it and just get the ball into the box. So I would have really liked to have seen Tel and Xavi in today, but most of all, right now, I've got to look at it. New manager comes in, he's seen him in training for the last week. He's got a plan of action. I've got to trust it for a minute and see where it's going. But for me, I would have really liked to have seen that 4-2-3-1 and everybody in their rightful positions. The only thing that I can think of by going 4-3-3, and when I looked at it on paper, you can, if everybody's on form, it looks like an attacking lineup. But like Craig said there, I don't think Richie works well on the left at all. And everything that went through him today, unfortunately, it crumbled at times. He just made very poor decisions. First touch was off the majority of the time. And you could see that he was struggling out there. Even that in the first half, like swap him over, chuck Colo, if you don't want to take him off at that time, chuck Colo on the left and chuck Richie on the right. Try something. But these boys are so scared as well. So it's tough. So yes, the starting lineup, I tried to look at it as all right, what are you going to bring, De Zerbi? What have you seen? Let me see what you're bringing to the table and why you brought it to the table. But I did have my worries and I did have my concerns and I did have my wishes of certain players to be playing today. But look, man, this is Tottenham right now. It doesn't matter what lineup we put out. There's always something going on, man. There's always something going on.
Now, on the Fanalysis app, I've already done the player ratings. So if you'd like to see my ratings, do head over to the app. But I'm going to ask the guys on the panel today for their ratings, because it's interesting. Whenever we record one of these podcasts, you always get some viewers saying they played well, and then you get other people saying no, they didn't. So let us know your player ratings as we go along. I'm going to very simply go through the three of you, giving you a player, and give me the player rating out of 100. Ricky, John said to us that he was impressed with Kinski. Let's start with you, Rick. So Antonin Kinski, rating out of 100.
Out of 100, I'm gonna go 60. The reason I'm going 60 is that I'm thinking just 6 out of 10. I think for him to come back after the last game he played, he had a pretty solid game, a couple of nice saves, some nice footwork, some nice passing. He wasn't afraid. He done that step that he slipped up on the Atletico pitch. He done that step a couple of times today, and he wasn't afraid to continue that. So I think it was an encouraging performance by him. So I would go 6 out of 10, but 60 is what I'm going to say.
I agree, Rick. I thought he had a very solid game. John, what about you?
Solid to give 7. Well, it's like 7 out of 10, 70. I'll give him making mistakes. It was good handling. Fair play to him. He come back quite well. Yeah.
You'd feel happy, John, seeing him play in the next couple of games if needed with Vicario?
Yeah. Well, what I quite liked about him as well is we don't get all the dramatics that we get with Vicario. That when Vicario makes a save, he's straight out bollocking everybody, waving his arms around, having a go. Whereas with him, whether it's a confidence thing or what, he didn't do it. there's like an element of calm, I suppose, that they didn't get that hammering every time someone had a shot or got through or was unmarked or anything. So, and he's better with his feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, given how he played today, I don't have a problem with him playing against Brighton. No.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the feet because I thought his distribution was a lot better than Vicario today. Certainly
Doesn't just chip it like Vicario does. Floats it. He probably gets some distance on him.
Craig, player rating for Kinski.
75.
Oh, so see what I mean about how what a difference it is. Ricky 60, Craig up to 75.
I'm only going to give you numbers, and because we'll be here all day otherwise if we go for each player and tell him what. But for me, he wasn't at fault for the goal. His footwork was good. He didn't make any other mistakes. 75. Thought he'd done well.
That was the politest. Get on with it, quick, Chris, from Craig.
But we'll be here all day if we keep bang on it, won't we?
All right. Pedro Porro. Rick, Pedro Porro. Give us a number, Rick. Hurry up.
I'll give him a 55.
John?
60.
Craig?
55, yeah.
Craig, we ought to have a comment or two, otherwise it's a little bit boring. Rick, Christian Romero.
I'll give him a. I want to say 55 again, but I'm gonna go. Oh shit! I'm gonna go 60.
John.
45.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm going back to 55. Yeah, John, you're right. 45. I hear you, but
45.
Yeah, 55.
Do you know what? I really want to see more from Romero, particularly as his captain. I really do. And
we've seen the last of him, haven't we? Now
there are reports stating that he could be out for some time with an injury. Craig, what's your rating for Romero?
42.
Ooh.
I would say the fact he got booked, he seems to be a bit of a liability. The 3 of the back 4 got booked, in fact, but it was a pointless booking. He only did Brobby because Brobby did him. There was no need. He was never winning that ball. So yeah, I want more from my captain.
Craig, start us off with Mickey van der Ven. He looked extremely disappointed at the final whistle.
Again, needless booking. 40.
Ricky, is that a bit low?
I would go. I'm gonna go 55, same as Romero.
Yeah, John.
Yeah,
47, slightly above Romero because he lasted the whole game. But
well done.
Do you think that Mickey van der Ven will be a Spurs player next season, John?
No,
regardless of what division we're in.
No, it changed for him. It changed for me when he done that interview with Gary Neville.
Always, yeah. As soon as I saw that too, bro.
Yeah, turned his head, and he's there. Not, nah.
John, start us off on Destiny Doggy.
60.
Craig.
Yeah, I thought he did well. I was going to go 65 actually.
Will this will Destiny Doggy limit Jed Spence's game time?
Hopefully.
Craig.
Probably. For me, it hung a bit there. Probably, yeah, because it seems like he's going to be his best back four.
Ricky, Destiny Doggy.
I'm going to go 60.
Ricky, start us off with Archie Gray.
Archie, I thought he done well. Yeah, I thought he had a nice couple of forward passes. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 60. I'll give him a 60.
John Archie Gray, and is he a future Spurs captain?
48, maybe he is. I'm not there yet. Maybe. I do feel for he's played a lot of positions for us and stuff, but yeah, I didn't. It wasn't his greatest day today.
Craig, Archie Gray.
I'd say 45. I don't think it was his best game.
Yeah, not great ratings these, are they? Craig, Conor Gallagher.
Fucking hell. 30.
30. Rick?
25.
Wow. John?
Yeah, 28.
I thought I was bad. Oh my
200 grand a week.
I know.
Oh.
It's
Oh, this is
interesting though,
fun.
isn't it? How you guys do give different ratings. I know Craig is probably quite harsh with a lot of players. John, start us off with Cowlin and what have you made of him in a Tottenham shirt?
Oh Christ, Cowlin I'll give him 41 because he almost won as a penalty. But what have I made of him in a Tottenham shirt? I could name 30 Tottenham strikers better than him. He doesn't want to be there. His attitude stinks, and I don't understand why these managers persevere with him.
John, I'm going to call your bluff. Name the 30 strikers.
Oh, come on, Johnny.
Whatever. Lineker, Sheringham, Kane, Klinsmann, Andy Booth, Soldado, Raziak, Solanke, Kane. I've said Kane, haven't I? Son, if he played through there. Pavlyuchenko, Darren Bent,
Armstrong,
Jermaine Defoe.
Crouch, Defoe.
Yeah, Crouch, yeah.
Asimovic.
Paul Stewart.
Who was the one that went to? Who was the one that went to Ebor number 9? Oh, he was Dutch, left-footed.
Janssen.
I think of his name.
Janssen. Clinton and G.
Janssen.
The striker. Clinton and G. Lorente.
Fraser Campbell.
Lancashire.
Dane Scarlett.
I'm impressed, John.
Louis,
I'm only asking you these long questions just to annoy Craig now.
Louis Saha.
Evers and Berbatov, Rebrov.
Oh,
brilliant, John. Brilliant. Well done. So, Craig, Cowlin what rating?
28, I would say. That's giving him 3 extra for nearly winning us a penalty. I mean, that's the most pathetic dive I've ever seen in my life as well. But I mean, honestly, he was going down and people were saying, oh, he should have been given a penalty. No, he's useless. He's useless. I'm sorry.
Do you know what? If we're talking about 30 Spurs strikers in a couple of years' time on this podcast, I don't think I'll even remember Cowlin I don't think he's done very much at all in a Spurs shirt. I've been so disappointed with him. Ricky, what rating would you give him today?
Yeah, I'm going to go 38, I think.
Ricky, start us off with Lucas Bergvall.
Bergie, I'll go 55.
John?
45.
Craig?
48.
Richarlison, Rick?
27.
Do you know what? We spoke about Richarlison on this podcast. You referenced it a couple of minutes ago about, a player being there, getting you out of trouble, getting the goals and being up for the fight and all of that. And you also mentioned about the shots that he had today. So tame.
Terrible,
when you need a player in front of goal and you need that moment, I tell you what, can you rely on him to produce that moment, particularly in these next 6 games? I hope so, but nothing fills me with the confidence that he is going to be that man.
I can't work that fella out at all. He looks really uncomfortable when he's in possession. He had that bit where he ran down the left wing and he kind of got in and then just hit the side netting. And then for the goal, he's done like a kind of slide tackle, but it was nothing. It didn't block. It didn't go to the player, and it just can't work him out, Richarlison, at all.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like you say, man. It's like every shot was. He had 3 opportunities today, Chris, in pretty much the same spot with time and space to work it out. Either find a man or at least like have your shot. Have a bit of power behind it. You're a striker, and it made me think back to Maddison's YouTube video. He's doing these rehab videos, and they were doing a bit of shooting practice. And Richie really he wasn't even on it in training. There was things that were off there, and I was just hoping that all right, he's just messing about, and I'm hoping that we're going to unlock this relegation form. Richie, but for me, out on the left, man, he killed it. He killed every time. He had 3 opportunities today, and every single one of them was really. They were poor efforts. And yeah, I think he's an impact sub. I think he comes on in the number 9 to try and make an impact. Or you start him in the number 9 and bring him off on a 55-60. You know, if you want to try and get the chaos out of Richie. But my goodness, it was bad today.
Yeah, I don't want to appear rude, but I think that we have seen harder or faster back passes than those shots.
Oh my goodness.
John, what was your rating for Richie?
47.
Wow, it's high.
With him, what we'll say with him is that in games before he's come in, he's been a bit of a disruptor, and he gets the opposition fans worked up and stuff. But didn't really see enough of that today. But he was probably out of our front 3 the most likely one, albeit the 3 opportunities he had were powder puff, weren't they? But
well,
I think 47.
You've gone 47. I will reveal one of mine. I gave him 27.
Oh,
yeah, Craig, you?
30. 30.
Okay. Dominic Solanke.
19.
Yeah, I mean,
they've done this thing on Sky before. I haven't necessarily seen it about De Zerbi at Brighton with Welbeck dropping in and linking the play and then having third man running. And they were kind of insinuating that Solanke was going to do that for us. Mate, it's like a battleship turning in a bath, isn't it? He couldn't do that. He doesn't link the play. He didn't get involved. He didn't get stuck in. He did nothing. He tried an overhead kick, didn't he, in the first half? But nah, we had absolutely nothing from him. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, but we didn't provide him with too much either. You know, those times what encouraged me about him today was, I think it was in the first 5 minutes where he got down and he pulled it back, I think, for Bergvall. Got down the line and then he got close to goal, basically what Richie done, but instead of shooting into the side net, and he pulled it back into the path. And it needed to be, you know, a little bit more powerful. It would have been a slightly better pass. But it was a good move. But these are the straws that we're clinging to. So for me, what did I give Richie? 20? Did I give him 27?
27, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna give Solanke 27 too. I'm gonna give them the same.
Okay, right. Lastly, Roberto De Zerbi. What rating out of 100 would you give him, Ricky?
De Zerbi. I mean, we've not seen any. I mean, 50. I'll go middle because I mean, what can I say?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go right down the line. You know,
I gave him 51. John,
40. Went with 4 at the back. Wasn't too impressed with the team selection, and he should have brought Xavi on when he conceded.
Okay, so not a good start for you then, John. Under Roberto De Zerbi.
No, not really. No. I didn't really get a reaction. Didn't get a reaction from the players.
I don't think I gave you my Solanke one. I'll give him 39, Chris. De Zerbi, about 45 because I didn't agree with the team selection and some of the subs. Can I just say, some cad has updated Johan Langer's Wikipedia page, and it says Johan Langer, born 22nd of November 1979, is a Danish football executive and former manager. He is currently responsible for relegating Premier League club Tottenham Hotspur. Sorry, it just makes me laugh.
Oh my goodness!
So true.
The last rating on Fanalysis we're going to do is the referee, Rob Jones. And as you know, Ricky and Craig, particularly where you're here every week, I'm not one to slate referees. But I tell you what, that performance today was probably, well, there's no probably about it. That was the worst refereeing performance I've seen in a Premier League game, certainly this season, let alone Spurs matches, any other games that I've seen on TV. That was an absolute disgrace. What rating would you give him out of 100?
I'd give him 80 out of 100. For Sunderland, for us, I would give him about 5, mate, because again, I agree with you. One of the worst, another one, but it's even that's becoming too we're getting too used to it. Every single game we've got this. It seems like, honestly, and I know that when you're down there, these things have been said before. You know, everything's against us. You know, the Premier League, but the PGM, everyone's the refs. But look at it, bro. Like, we're getting it every single week. The way that our players got thrown about and we got nothing. And bro, you need to do another rating after this for the commentators, because they were backing this guy like, oh, that's a great decision. Oh yeah, you know, robbery. That was just a push. It's within. They were backing this guy to the hilt. They was as bad as the ref today. The commentators today. It was so bad. It was so bad. But it's another thing that has become too frequent in a Tottenham game. A ref that doesn't give us absolutely anything. And I'm just talking about fair. You know, the things that you give to Sunderland, give to us. But that didn't happen. Every time and even that, you know, we talk about Romero's yellow card. I didn't get to see the slow-mo close-up or what. But to me, I don't even think that was a yellow card challenge. I just think it was a foul. But they were so quick, they couldn't wait to flash the yellow card at Romero. And they couldn't wait to dish it out. Van der Ven's, I can half go, okay, cool, maybe last man. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't get to see, again, the slow-mo on that. It was just a quick decision and they moved on. I didn't get to see anything to do with Porros, but if it was to do with him back chatting, that's just a stupid, silly yellow card. And we've had too many of those this year as well as everything else going against us. But my goodness, they were so fast. They were so fast to call a foul against us. There was times that we have an opportunity to have a free kick around their box and that he just waved it on. And then they would go and do exactly the same. 2 minutes later up in our end. And look at the end of the first half. There was about 4 that Sunderland had right at the end of the first half. It was almost like the refs were willing them to score against us just before half time to kill us. I mean, I don't know, mate. I don't know where we are with these refs, but my goodness, I'm giving him 5 out of 100, bro.
Yeah, you gave him more than I did. I gave him 2.
Did you? I mean, I was going to go there, man. I was going to go there. Yeah, you know what? 2. I'm back. I'm with you.
The one thing I couldn't accept, and I did actually manage to tweet during the game because the reception isn't the best in the Stadium of Light. But I actually tweeted the Spurs fans singing about the referee. You can imagine what they were singing. But, you know, football is meant to be a physical game. And Van der Ven, you know, that free kick for Sunderland outside the box, Van der Ven was penalised. But not only was he penalised and they got the free kick, he was also given a yellow card. I tell you what, if that is a yellow card now in the Premier League in 2026, I don't know what I'm watching.
I don't know what we're watching, mate. I don't.
There was an incident in the second half where Luke O'Nine's done the same thing to us. And it was a good challenge. But it was exactly the same thing as what Van der Ven did. And yeah. The frustration of the referee was that he kept playing advantage for them. Yeah. But we didn't get any advantages, like fouls or anything. And there was one incident, but we were breaking. I think it's before the goal. And Cowlin Moani, bless him, put his head in, and we were away. And he said that his foot was too high.
Oh yeah,
or handball or whatever. He didn't. His head. He was away. And it was that sort of the stop-start for us. We could never get going really. But the advantage playing for them, it's almost like, and I thought he was going to give a penalty for that one at the end. You know, it wasn't a penalty. Danso on their forward when the cross come in, I thought that's a shoe-in. He's giving that. Fortunately, VAR said don't, so he didn't. But I really thought he was going to do that. So not a good game from him at all.
John, what rating out of 100 for Rob Jones?
2.
Nice one. And Craig?
I've got a slightly different view on it, actually. I don't think the referee's performance was very good at all. But that's actually a refereeing performance. I see a few people online saying that there's a conspiracy against Tottenham, like all the match officials have been told to relegate Spurs. Don't talk such wet. Honestly, people only talk about it when your team loses generally about a referee's performance, saying the ref was against us. I think the ref just had a bad game, and he made some bad decisions, definitely. I don't think there's an agenda with the match officials to relegate Tottenham. I certainly think there is an agenda with the media and the commentators today that they love Spurs being in this position, absolutely. People thriving on it, making shows on it. Pundits absolutely loving the fact that Spurs are down there. That's a different thing altogether. If we weren't so crap, we wouldn't be in this position, and that's just that. Basically, he tried to give us a penalty, and it went to VAR, and VAR said no. So I don't think you can hold that against him, but he did make decisions during the game that I was just amazed by. People saying that it was an elbow on Porro. It wasn't. It was a hold-off. But I think Robbie should have got a card on Romero in the first place, and that's why Romero went for him and got a yellow card. So the refereeing performance on the whole was poor. He definitely gave us some bad decisions. Sunderland would probably say that he gave some bad decisions against them, but they won the game. So you're less likely as a human being when your side wins to actually criticise a referee like we are. So yes, 100% he had a bad game, and I'll give him a 10 at most. But I think we're looking in the wrong place. We're trying to blame other people for the fact that we're crap. And you know, if we'd won that game, we wouldn't be saying that the referee was bad like everybody is. So that's just my opinion.
But Craig, when it happens every week, bro, do you know what I mean? And yes, we've lost every week too. So I hear that point loud and clear. But when it happens every week, I can understand how a fan will go there to a silly conspiracy theory. I don't want to be saying those things, but I can understand it because when it happens all the time, bro, like all the time, there's been absolute shocking decisions against us where exactly what we're saying here, right?
Yeah,
forget the penalty,
so,
but forget the penalty. I never believed that. I never thought we was getting a penalty in the first place. We're just talking about what Johnny was saying there. You know, when you give the same incident, like, that the opponent gets the foul or the yellow card or whatever it is, and then it's again, like, we don't get it. They get it, we don't get it. You know what I mean? Like in the same game a lot of the time. So you're going, come on, man. And so I hear you. You probably just had a bad game, and it's because, you know, we lost.
I do get what you're saying, but I think it would even out in people's minds if your team were winning games. And I think a lot of what your opinion is on a referee and his performance is if you've won or lost the game. I just think as human beings, we're wired to try and blame the referee if we're doing crap. And we've done crap for so long. I get what you're saying, Mick, because we've had some bad decisions. But I think you're more likely to look back to, say, January, for example, and say, all these decisions have gone against us. We haven't taken our chances. We haven't scored enough goals, and we've conceded too many. So I don't think we can look to blame the referees completely for it at all. But today he had a bit of a shocker, definitely.
I don't know how cute we are with refereeings as well. When I watch other teams play and how they handle the referees as well. We don't do that. I mean, I'm not saying you go out and intimidate or anything like that, but just how you'll communicate with them. I don't know. We seem to always goes to shots of us, Porro just swearing at him, or Van der Ven swearing at him and stuff. And
that should be a card. That should be a card because he would be in rugby. You see, Shearer used to do it. My favourite player of all time. Right? You'd say, "You're fucking," whatever he's saying. He's saying it to his face. You see it all the time now. Referee should just go, yellow card, do it again, and you're off. Because I can't stand dissent. That's the worst thing to get a card for. It's the most stupid thing. It used to wind me up when I played. I had played with a player used to be on at the referee every game. He'd get a yellow card for dissent. I don't get it. Why are you swearing and shouting at the referee? Just walk away. Yeah, there's ways to speak to people, but the referees aren't strong enough to act. And it just sends a wrong message to kids as well.
I get exactly what you're saying, Craig, and I completely agree also with you, Ricky, in the fact that, Spurs need to, win the game. We shouldn't be sitting here blaming referees. I'm not sitting here blaming the referee for our defeat today, and I'm not blaming referees for previous defeats either. So don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that was a really poor refereeing performance, and so many decisions today, so many. Let's get into the game itself. Ricky, after 2 minutes, a good move from Tottenham. Pedro Porro with a long-range effort straight at the goalkeeper. A minute later, Richarlison, a poor pass in the final third, didn't find his teammate in a good position. And, on 5 minutes, a good break from Spurs, Richie with a tame shot. I'm going to go back to what I was talking about a moment ago about, can Richarlison be that player? He did it for Everton. Can he do it for Spurs? Can he save us from relegation?
I mean, if you look on the history of his Tottenham career, and you want to be logical, you'd say no. But he does have that crazy ability to just turn up and then end up scoring goals out of nowhere. So who knows, man? Who knows? If you want to be, if you want the simple answer, it would probably be no. But the hopeful answer is, something does awaken within him, and he turns into a beast, and he does have it in him to save us. He, like you said there, he's done it at Everton. So he does have it in him, but we just haven't seen it, mate. We just haven't seen it. And, these opportunities that we've had, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Palace, today, we ain't seen it. We ain't seen it. And those were the moments. Today was a moment. Forest was a moment. Those were the moments where we needed to see this version of Richie, and we still didn't see it, really. So it's just hopeful prayers, bro. That's where we're at now.
John, let's come to you after 6 minutes from a Sunderland attack. A good tackle from captain Christian Romero from that resulting corner. It nearly went in, but Kinski saved it. On 17 minutes, Sunderland attack. Number 9 played through. Kinski out quick. After 19 minutes, Sunderland attack again. Headed over the bar this time. And then on 21 minutes, Spurs were awarded a penalty. It looked like Richarlison was about to take it, and then it went to VAR. And then it was overturned. What do you make of that decision?
It wasn't a penalty. As much as I wanted it to be, it wasn't. It wasn't. I think. But what baffled me was that it wasn't a penalty. It should have been a corner. It ended up being a drop ball for the goalkeeper.
Mm.
Is that the rule then? Because I thought it was because Cowlin was like he was claiming a corner.
Yeah, if he goes to VAR, I think it's just a drop ball. I think in that situation, it must be.
It wasn't not for me. I wanted it to be, of course, but no, just wasn't enough in it.
Could you see and could you understand why, John, in real time, that the referee Rob Jones actually gave the penalty?
Yeah, like coming together, the first defender on him, and then that 09 slid in, didn't he? And he was kind of already going down. No, I could see probably from his angle it probably looked like it, but yeah, when they look it back, it's not. It wasn't.
John, let's stay with you for this one, because after 28 minutes, Christian Romero is given a yellow card, which he would have been very careful from that point after 28 minutes. At that point, the away end were actually singing to Rob Jones, "You're not fit to referee," amongst other things that I won't mention. But 10 minutes later, Van de Ven, as I mentioned earlier, he was given a yellow card. And as I said, also about, it's a physical game. What do you make of those two yellows? Is the Premier League and are certain referees being a little bit soft?
Romero's got a reputation, I think, anyway. So it's going to precede him. So if he clatters a player, it's a yellow card kind of straight away, regardless of kind of the outcome. And he plays like that. I would like the managers to, he always has to win that first ball, like the first, as soon as it comes into the player, he's bang straight into him. Sometimes you can't always win that one. You have to be a bit more patient. Was it a yellow card? You've seen them given, haven't you? Given his reputation and stuff, I suppose it probably was. The second one, the Van de Ven one, no. I didn't even think it was really a foul. I mean, it's like, you see that a lot. It happens so often. And we saw it in the second half for them. 09's pushed Cowlin or whatever. He'd done exactly the same thing, and they go, really good strength. Whereas Van de Ven was, oh no, you can't do that. Well, what is it? So then, of course, and then I think the Van de Ven yellow card, and Porro mouthed off, and he got a yellow card off the back of that as well, didn't he? For that, so that's 3 out of the back 4 in there. I don't think Romero helps himself. Is the bottom line? They got the red card at Old Trafford for, it was worse, but the similar action again, trying to get the ball first before the player, but goes through the player. Yeah, I think probably is a yellow card for him, but I don't. Van de Ven's no.
Craig, let's come to you just before the halftime break. Pedro Porro crossed into Solanke that went wide, and then he had another chance, Solanke, just before the half-time break, and also Kinski made a fantastic save. I'll ask you a similar question what I asked about Richarlison earlier, about Dominic Solanke. Of course, great having Solanke back into this Tottenham Hotspur team, but he needs the service and support from his teammates, and most importantly, we need goals from him.
Yeah, and a striker needs service, definitely. And that's not what you're going to get actually from Richarlison on the wing. I don't think you're going to get that service. And on the other wing, Cowlin doesn't seem to provide much either. What I would say, when Brennan Johnson was at the club, I know he split opinion, but at least he would get in and put those low crosses in. At least you knew what you were going to get from him, and tell to a degree. And certainly when Sonny was at the club, I just think that we were spoilt for so many years. Definitely had better squads as well during this time, by the way. But having Son and Kane, and then Son, and obviously in his final season, his powers were waning a little bit. But getting that supply line into the centre forward, Harry Kane was a phenomenon anyway. I think Harry Kane can make goals out of nothing, definitely. But even Kane back then got better service because for the likes of Son. And we're just not seeing it at the moment, and we haven't seen it for the last 3 or 4 months. We haven't really seen it all season, to be honest with you. And the wingers haven't been strong enough in doing the jobs to get the ball to the centre forward. So Solanke's not the best header of the ball, I would say, for a centre forward, but at least give him crosses, because he will thrive and get those tap-ins, but the way we used to play under Ange Postecoglou, of course. So we're just not seeing that. I didn't see many of them today where people are putting in any decent crosses. So that's what your centre forward is going to need.
At the half-time break at the Stadium of Light, there was actually applause for the Tottenham Hotspur players, but boos for the referee. Ricky, let's come to you. Before we talk about the second half, just want to get your reaction to a couple of comments from Roberto De Zerbi in the post-match presser. He said, "We didn't deserve to lose the game today. We played a good game, maybe not enough to win, but we were unlucky in a few situations. I cannot say anything to the players because they gave their best in terms of attitude and spirit. Also," he said, "fear of relegation, yes, that is a problem. The target now is to win one game, and we will see everything in a different way." Let's get your reaction to those comments, because he thinks that the players gave their best in terms of the attitude and spirit. Do you agree with that? And also, I agree entirely with what he's saying here about we haven't won a Premier League game for 105 days. Getting that one win will lift these players, will give the players confidence, and also us fans confidence that we know that we can actually win a game.
Yeah, with these comments, Chris, I pretty much agree with him. You know, when it comes down to the players, there was a renewed energy. They were trying to implement some of the things that they've been trying in training. When we talk about those Richarlison chances, especially within the first half, so they were trying, and they passed forward. You know, they were looking to try and do the right things, but it's been such a long time since they've been able to do that. I think part of them have forgotten. Do you know what I mean? So he's still backing his players because he still needs them. But I totally agree with, you know, just one win can change everything. One win could change everything, but it needs to come. It needed to come today, but it needs to come now. Absolutely. But one win, it will change the energy, it will change the motivation, it will remind them that they can win. 105 days, you know, 105 days. Wow. I remember joking with Craig about, you know, that Man United supporter who wanted, you know, he hasn't cut his hair because he wanted 5 wins in a row. Well, I remember having that joke with Craig going, you know, we just want one win. Do you know what I mean? He's, you know, Craig's shaving his head every day until we get one win, and then he's going to let it grow, you know. But it's got to that point now where it's like 105 days, mate. If I would have let you grow it, you would have had an afro, mate. You would have had, you know, remember Soul Glow? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just let your soul glow. Like, you know, that, from Coming to America, Eddie Murphy, old school film. But a classic nonetheless. But yeah, man, it's got to that point now, man, where we're looking at 105 days. My goodness. Wowza. wowza, that in itself, I don't know what to say, man. We need some soul glow in our life. That's what we need, man. We need something to happen. We need something to go right.
John, can I come to you on that point as well? Because he said there the players are giving their best. You as a Spurs fan, do you believe that they are giving their best?
No. I think he's going to say all the right things. He's just started, but no, I don't. I don't think so. I wonder what the like the togetherness is like in there. Do they rate each other? For example, does Porro think Solanke's any good? Do you know what I mean? Do they? Is there that kind of belief in each other? Is it when the team's out, it's Bergvall and Gray, who ain't going to win anything in midfield? I don't know. I get a feeling that there's not that togetherness for sure. I see them high fiving before kick off and they do that huddle or whatever it is. But I don't know. It's for show really more than anything else. Are they giving everything? No, they're not. They're not giving everything because I don't see enough fight, aggression, urgency. It's lackluster. I mean, towards the end of the game today, we had Udogie cross the ball behind the goal. Porro's firing in shots that, and it's just, no, I don't think they are. I think
when you say that though, John, are you talking across the board or are you just talking about one or two players? Who are you talking about? Who are you targeting that at? Pretty much.
I mean, just like single out individuals, I think, whatever might divide opinion a little bit, but I know Porro always shows up. Last year when we had all those injuries and everything, he played every game, just showed up. And he does again this season to a degree. I think the two at the back, Van der Ven and Romero, they're probably our best players really on paper, but they don't show it. And Udogie picks it up, puts it down, doesn't he? Plays doesn't play very often. Archie Gray, yeah, again. And then the front three, again, I don't so hit or miss. Gallagher there just looks like he's there for a payday, just getting paid fortunes for staying fit. I mean, yeah, there's so much, and I'd like to think he'd take a view from watching this game, having seen them play now, and he's gone. Actually, do you know what I thought? I thought Gray and Bergvall would work in the middle. It doesn't work. That front three, it doesn't work. There's no cohesion. We need a number 10 in the middle there. I need to go 4-2-3-1. I need to be solid at the back. And if Romero's out for a long time, Danso is probably he's not as good as Romero, granted, but he's just like a stopper, stay-at-home defender. He'll kick the ball out. He'll try, and go back to that Anfield game when him and Dragusin played there. Not as good as Van der Ven and Romero, I know, but they gave everything, and that's all we're asking for, really, at the moment in this. And I think sometimes you get more from that than you do from, say, the quality that apparently is there.
Craig, how are you feeling at the halftime break, 0-0?
I mean, I wasn't displeased. I thought it was okay. Like I say, the first time I said earlier, one of the first times we got to the half in a while without conceding, so it wasn't too bad. I did expect us to come out, and I wanted us to start the second half like we started the first, and we didn't really. But it was, I know we'll come on to it, but literally as soon as they'd scored the goal, you could see the heads drop. And that's the worry for me. As soon as we go behind, it's like ingrained in these players that, oh, well, that's the game done, because we've got zero ability to come back. I don't know what the stat is, but we haven't managed to come back and win a game after going behind in a long, long time. So that was always the danger, and that's what happened. I think what you said was right. I think it was you, Chris, that these players have forgotten how to win in the Premier League. And getting any win, it could turn it to make these players believe that they can actually do something. But it's just shocking. I can't remember. Well, the stats bear that out. In my lifetime, I just can't remember such a bad run as a Tottenham fan. So, over 100 days, 105 days without a win. It's just. We'd never have said it. If we'd come on a podcast last summer before the season started and said, okay, in April, Spurs are going to be in 18th place. Is that progression? Is that challenging on all fronts? We'd have said, oh, we're not going to be finishing in 18th place. They wouldn't let that happen again. Well, they have let that happen again. It's actually got worse. So yeah, this is all on, I'll say it again, it's all on the board. It's all on the recruitment team. It's terrible.
I think going back to, sorry, go on.
No, John, I was going to say,
No, that was it. I'm done.
It's difficult for me to ask the three of you where the next point's coming from, because you've all said that you think we're going down. But do you think the Spurs are actually going to win a game in the remaining 6? And if so, who against?
I think they'll win. I think we'll win a game when it doesn't matter because we're good at that. So we'll all be relegated and then we'll win. We're good when the pressure's off. That's what I think. So we might be relegated probably. I don't know. Say we get relegated. God forbid we get relegated at Stamford Bridge. We'll beat Everton last day. That's what I think. That's what I think that they're like. But it'll be too little, too late, because they don't. When it really matters, as a club, everyone included, when it really matters, you don't do it. You don't do it. You can't do it for whatever reason.
Craig, where's the next? When is the next win against who?
I genuinely can't see another win, Chris, this season. I genuinely can't see another win. And I'm saying that almost in the hope of reverse psychology. But I genuinely can't see us beating Brighton. I genuinely can't even see us beating Leeds when they come to our stadium. Wolves is going to be tough away. Chelsea, we never win at anyway. Everton, as you say, could be the most likely place if Everton are out of... I don't think they're even pushing for Europe, really, are they? So they have nothing to play for. Villa is going to be tough. I can't see us getting anything there. I genuinely can't see any more wins this season, which is frightening.
Ricky, do you want to answer that one?
I think the next points that we pick up is when we start doing needlepoint, because the rest of the season, mate, I don't know. I really don't know.
Lincoln
at home next season. That'll be the next 3 points.
Ricky. On a serious note, someone did actually, and forgive me, I've forgotten the name of someone. Actually wrote a comment saying, "Will these podcasts continue in the Championship? Are you going to be with us in the Championship next season?"
I'm Tottenham, mate. I'm Tottenham. Win, lose or draw, I'm Tottenham. Even though I'd be upset, and I've gone through it. I've gone through it all this season. Me and Craig, boy, oh my goodness, we've been moany old sods. If you ever watched the Muppets back in the day with the two old guys in the sitting in the box criticizing, if you ever saw that back in the day, that has been me and Craig for so long. So you know what, we can't help it. When Tottenham's in your blood, you follow your team. Do you know what I mean? And even though it's going to be hurtful, it's going to be embarrassing. We are Tottenham till I die, my friend. So we are Tottenham, Super Tottenham. We will return, if and when it happens. And we will be here. We ain't going nowhere.
Craig, let me come back to you because you mentioned the goal. Moments before the goal, it was another tame Richarlison shot, which was very, very frustrating, especially for the away end with groans. And just before that, Sunderland had a long-range effort that went over the bar. But on 61 minutes, Sunderland did take the lead. And, of course, it was the only goal of the game. Do you want to talk us through it?
Yeah, I just think the distance he ran with the ball without really being challenged was very disappointing, actually. Bergvall trying to get back in, didn't really get back in at all. Very unlucky with the deflection, obviously, off Mickey van der Ven. You could say, that in itself is a bit unlucky. Kinski would have been quite an easy save for him, I think, had it just gone through Van der Ven's legs. It's just one of those when your luck's not in, your luck's not in. But how the hell did he even get in that position and was allowed to run that far with the ball? That's all I'd say. Just people not shutting him down. But like I say, the goal itself, just unlucky. But that should have been the kick the players got. But as I say, the heads went down. The heads went down straight away. Porro had a couple of shots a bit later on, which I'm sure you'll cover. But we didn't really look to threaten that much. So I just couldn't. As soon as we went behind, I just thought that was it. I just couldn't see us getting back into it.
Ricky, what Craig just said there about the luck, and I said exactly the same thing when the goal went in the Stadium of Light, that sometimes, particularly when you are down there, particularly in the relegation zone, sometimes you do need a little bit of luck to get you out of it. We're certainly not getting any luck at the moment, which means that we need to perform that little bit better and put in a bit more of a shift than we are doing at the moment.
Yeah, well, they've also got to mean what they say and say what they mean. They've got to back their own chat, Chris.
Yep.
You know, when they speak about being protagonists, when they speak about being on the front foot, when they speak about being the makers of their own destiny and you know, having the power in their hands to change things, we need to see that. You know, we need to see a unity. We need and we need them to score first, you know, for a moment, so that their chests can rise and their heads and their chins can lift. But it's not happening, you know. We ain't getting the rub of the green at all. We haven't had any real luck, and when we have, it's actually gone against us. You know, I think about that Palace game where the player was like a nose offside, and the goal got ruled out. But like 5 minutes later, we conceded a pen. Van der Ven got sent off. We went 2-1 down. Do you know what I mean? By the end of that first half, we was 3-1 down, and the game was done. You know, so even when we get like the slightest touch, it always punishes us like 10 times worse than it would have been. It's a real tough situation that we're in, and it's going to take a miracle for things to start going our way. But the best way that you can have a hand in that is by backing your own chat and you know, start being the protagonists of the game, and start being the directors instead of the actors of the play. You know, start making it happen. I know that's easier said than done because we haven't seen it all season, but that's where the direction that they need to go in. If you go in a direction with positive thoughts, energy, and belief, things tend to fall in your direction. You end up seeing that, you know, that £5 note on the street. You know, it ends up, certain things end up falling for you. If you're in negativity and if you're in dark energy and you're like a cloud's over you all the time, then you're gonna get rained on every time that you step out. Every time that you go to park the car, there's got to be no parking spaces. You know, so a lot has to shift, but it has to shift with inside these boys, because you can see that they're devoid of it. They haven't got heart right now. If you listen to some of the training video, or the last one, I think it was, De Zerbi was talking about being in love with the game, being in love with the football, start to love the football again.
Yeah.
That's coming from a proper football man, coach, manager, former player. You know, he's saying you need to be in love with the football again. They don't love the football. They've been taught to hate the football. You've got to remember that a whole pre-season and for up until February, when they finally got rid of Frank, the whole game plan was to get a throw-in, a free kick, or a corner. And that's how we was going to score. That's how we was playing football. You know, so there's a lot that needs to turn around for them to get that love for football back. But at least somebody's there and reminding them of what it is to love football and what it is to be passionate and what it is to kind of go out there and give your all, not only for the club, but for your teammates, and to perform. But they've been slapped in the face so bad that they've just got used to it, mate. They've just got used to it. And it's tough. It's tough.
John, would you like to add anything on the goal?
Do you know what Thomas Frank said to us? He shouldn't shoot from outside the box because there's only a 16% chance of scoring. Well,
yeah,
that's a really good point. That is a really good point, because I think Craig and I have covered this subject on a few fan shows as well. That, you know, how many goals have we conceded this season from outside the box?
Yeah, speculative, right? Just don't buy. You know, you never know what's going to happen. And that's ultimately, you know, been our undoing. But we still don't do it, though, do we? I mean, Porro, to be fair, had one effort, but we don't tend to do that.
Do you guys think that Gallagher could have done more in the position that he was in when we've conceded that goal? Because there was a point where he ran back, but it was almost like he ran part. He just went in the wrong direction. I felt that his body shape was out, and it was a panic move.
CDM should be covering that position he was running through.
It's his job.
Yeah,
it's his job.
I thought with what he was saying in the week, De Zerbi, about man to man and everything else, we didn't see any of that today, did we? When we haven't got the ball, just go man to man. We didn't do that either. Maybe it's highlighted the fact they can't do it. Maybe, I don't know.
John, talking about Roberto De Zerbi, because Igor Tudor was asked this a couple of weeks ago. After a couple of games of being there, is the job bigger than you thought? Do you think after the day, Roberto De Zerbi thinks that the job is bigger than he first thought?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Just on the management thing overall, it's about, like we spoke about before, about reading the room and everything. It would have helped. What we needed, when Frank should have gone earlier than he did, but okay, he went in February. We should have got somebody that was close, connected to the club, had some Tottenham association. I just think it would have got the fans more on side. It would have just connected it a little bit more. But then going left field with this Tudor, who no one knew, or who was never in the running, to then go to, and the job was, I mean, you can see it from face value, even without being in amongst the club where you're at. You're in free fall. You're still in the Champions League, which kind of papered over a lot of things. And then he's come in now. I don't know if we approached him before, and then we just thrown money at him, so he's come in, and he's in his third highest paid manager in the league. But yeah, there is a hell of a lot. There is a hell of a lot of things that need to go on. Medical department, recruitment, PR, players. There's so much that you need to get right, that the club have just not getting right at all. Haven't got right for a number of years, but particularly, and it's coming to the fore now.
Craig, let me come to you on this point. On 71 minutes, Romero going off in tears and Kevin Danso coming on. Now, I just wanted to ask you very briefly and very generally about players, particularly in this Tottenham Hotspur squad, who will be going to the World Cup. They know in their minds that they'll be going to the World Cup in the summer. As a footballer, are they still going to give 110% that we want them to give in these matches? Having seen Romero go off, it could mean that Romero may miss the World Cup because of what's happened today.
Yeah, and I do tend to agree. I mean, I don't like people guessing as to why a player would be in tears, but it would say to me that Romero is worried that his injury is going to keep him out of the World Cup, because it's something that only comes around once every 4 years. This could be his last World Cup. It could well be. And for us to think that he's going to give, or any player's going to be giving 100%, is going to be having one eye on the World Cup, I think you're a bit deluded to think that. We all want them to, but if you're a player and you want to play for your country at the World Cup, it's on the world's biggest stage. You're perhaps going to pull out of tackles and perhaps not give everything the fans want you to give as much as we want them to. So for me, Romero is probably, the tears are probably for he's worried about his World Cup participation. It looked more of an impact injury, to be honest with you. I mean, it could be his MCL, his medial ligament. Some people are just surmising. Could be that. There's some instability in the knee. It certainly didn't look like an ACL. I just hope for his sake and Spurs, to be honest, that it is just an impact injury, because he seemed to walk off okay, but he did certainly seem distressed. But we've seen Romero blow hot and cold this season. Obviously, his disciplinary is an issue, definitely for us. But you want your captain at the end of the day, regardless of whether you think he's a good captain or a bad captain. We want our captain on the pitch, and it's another injury that we're going to have to deal with at a period of time when we could really do with him on the pitch. So hopefully we'll find out a bit more tomorrow. He's an important player for us, and he's the sort of player you want on the pitch rather than not on the pitch.
Ricky, let's come to you. On 76 minutes, Tell to Solanke, headed towards goal, tame header this time, and I've used that word a number of times during this podcast, tame. On 80 minutes, Kinski came out, he had to punch out, but there was no one there. It was poor lack of communication there between him and his defenders. On 83 minutes, Cowlin, it looked like he was tripped inside the box. At this point, the away end just wanted any decision to go our way. It wasn't. On 85 minutes, Javi Simmons came on. Conor Gallagher went off. Giving Javi Simmons 5 minutes, I know there was 11 minutes of added time in the end, so he got more like 16 minutes. But do you think that we're going to see more of Javi Simmons under Roberto De Zerbi than we have done under Igor Tudor and Thomas Frank? Does he deserve that chance? Is he going to be the player to, give us that spark in these remaining 6 games, do you think?
I think he could be. He's got a lot to prove. I think he's one of those players that likes to make the impact, that likes to be the superstar, that likes to be man of the match, that likes to score the goal. I think he has that in him. There were reports during this season. I can't pin it down when it was, but there was reports where I think the boys were off. They had a couple of days off, and Javi was one of those that turned up to training every single day, and he's improving on his fitness, on his strength, on his hold-up play. He's always looking to improve, and he is a player with ambition that wants to be considered like one of the best in that position. So if you actually put him in the position on the pitch in where he's the most effective, where he wants to be, then I think he could. I think we need a creative spark. We've needed to have a team spark, because it's not just about individuals. There's so many times that we'll have 1-2 things that happen and it's going the right way, and then as soon as it hits the third person, it crumbles, and that's when the team crumbles. It's about the team being together and supporting and running, and I think that De Zerbi will ask for that and demand that. But I think you need to put Javi in there. You need to give him the license to go, all right, go make it happen. Go make it happen. You know how to play football. You know what needs to be done. Go make it happen. But we need willing runners on the wings, and we need somebody to provide service for our centre forward, whichever one that is going to be, whether it's Solanke or Richarlison. We need to start rotating them two as well. One needs to be on. I don't think we can play Richie on the left. I think one needs to be starting, and then one needs to come on to make an impact. I think that gives us more options. And we don't also run our strikers into the ground, because they'll both break at the same time. So yes, I do think that Javi coming in there could help this team, this situation, but also be a key player for someone like De Zerbi, who wants to play forward, who wants to play front-footed, who wants to play high press and all of those things, who wants to play organised but have a bit of freedom, who wants players that love the ball, love the football, and love to play. Because when you love something inherently, you always give a bit extra, and I think that Xavi's one of those. So he needs to get him in the team ASAP. Let's forget about this. I say forget about it. We still do need to be solid. Of course we do. But I don't think that midfield worked today. Put in your most experienced, put in the best where they can be, and let's go for something, man. Let's just go for broke. Let's go all out attacking, and let's go for broke, because I'm done with 101 defenders being all over the pitch. So yeah, get him in the side and get him in the side soon.
John, finally on the game itself, in that 11 minutes of added time, Pedro Porro had a shot at the goalkeeper, forced a good save from him, and also he blasted over the bar, which there were quite a few groans in the away end, because you need that calm head, especially in the dying seconds of the game. What do you make of Pedro Porro today?
Overall, suspect defensively. The thing is with him, I'll strip it back, is we're talking about the situation we're in. He cares, right? I get it. He cares. It's hurting him. It's paining him, and he is up for the fight. And sometimes that over exuberance has an impact on how he plays in terms of his passing ability and what have you. He hit a super pass to Richarlison before the goal, that crossfield pass. Which Richarlison just kind of give a back pass to the goalkeeper. He did all right. or just at the end, like I say, with those opportunities, that shot the keeper saved it. Then with them from the corner, it comes back to him and it's fired up into the stands. A little bit more composure in that area might have resulted in something. But again, when I don't know, we just don't know movement in the box. We weren't really committing bodies in there. I just felt like the urgency isn't there. This is where we're at. This is like serious shit. Get relegated. Where is the urgency to really to drive this? I think he gets it a little bit more so than the others do, but yeah, it's just lacking that little bit of quality at the end, wasn't it?
Serious shit. I tell you, I couldn't put it better myself, John.
Yeah.
2 final questions for you. John, we'll start with you. How do you think we will get on in our next Premier League game against Brighton? And also the second question, I say question, it's more of an opportunity of you saying exactly what we haven't spoken about, if there's anything else you'd like to cover or discuss on the podcast this evening.
Cool. How do I think we're going against Brighton? They're the form team. We're playing at home. Our record's shocking. We're in the bottom 3. Everyone wants us to get relegated. The key for me is he's seen us play live in the Premier League now with the players that he selected, and will realise that some of them aren't good enough. So with all that in mind, heart ruling head. Let's go and beat them. End their run, and we go and beat them.
I was going to say, John, is it a positive thing that it is against his former side, or doesn't that matter?
I don't really think it matters so much. They have a big turnover of player. There'll be a few players that played there under him, I think, but ultimately he's with Tottenham now, so they might be up for it a little bit, but I don't think so much. We played Brentford, didn't we, at our place, and they weren't particularly good. When Thomas Frank was here. No, I don't. No, not really. I just think we just need to focus on us solely, and he needs to get this. He needs to devise a plan quickly. How we're going to beat Brighton? We have to go there, start on the front foot, like the old days at the old stadium. Where we would come out flying. Just some of that back. Just go for it, hell for leather. Just rather than just tepid, backwards, sideways. Just go for it, fellas. Right? What's the worst that can happen? We get beat by Brighton. At least you've had a go. I don't think you've had a go in the last few games. What I was going to ask you was, how close to the club are you, personally? Like, I see you on Sky and what have you. Do you have any, any interaction with anyone within the club that you get nuggets of information from or anything like that?
Not at all, John. I'm exactly the same as any other fan. Just because I run a podcast or am a YouTuber or sometimes appear on Sky or BBC or whoever asked me to do an interview, any one of us could be asked to do an interview, and no. So the answer is no. It's interesting how you ask that, because so many people ask me that on a weekly basis, and I'm always very, very surprised by that. I think that it's fair to say that the Fan Advisory Board and the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, these are people that sit down with board members, particularly Vinay Venkatesham and Johan Langer, etc. These are people that sit down with them on a weekly basis. Just because I run a podcast and go to every game, I'm no different to any one of us sitting here on the podcast. So no, the answer is no. And I've said this many times as well, but I'll say it again. I've invited many people that work for the football club, many people on the board, and everyone is always very welcome on this channel. I'd love to sit down with board members. I'd love to sit down and talk to them and ask them questions about why we've made certain decisions, why we haven't done certain things in the past. I'd love to do that. But all of these offers that I've always put out there, I've sent many emails in. If I've ever had the opportunity to talk to anybody face to face, I've always asked the questions and they've always declined and they've always said no, sadly, for whatever reason. But that offer would always remain open, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers and listeners would love to hear the likes of me, Ricky, Craig, and all of the other regulars, talk to board members and ask them, questions that we really want the answers to.
Yeah.
Craig, same questions to you.
I hope I'm wrong. I just can't see us beating Brighton at the weekend. I think they seem to be doing well at the moment. The informed team, they're going to love coming to Spurs like every other club is going to love coming to our stadium at the moment. I really hope I'm wrong, but I can't see a victory there. What else have I said that I haven't said already? Other than we all know this club's been on a slide since almost Pochettino went, since 2019. We've lurched from manager to manager. Had a few highlights dribbled in there, of course. The not so small victory in the Europa League last year under Ange Postecoglou, but ultimately, manager upon manager upon manager haven't been backed because the board and the club have not done enough, basically. And it's, as I said before, it's come home to bite them now. And, you know, Spurs' survival in the Premier League obviously is going to be their priority at the moment. I don't really care about style at the moment. I don't care about long-term philosophy or anything like that. It's just about surviving, because if Tottenham fall, the question will not be how quickly we can return. It's actually about can we recover at all? Can we get back into the Premier League? Because that Championship is relentless, it's unforgiving. And I'm not sure with the players we've got at the moment, and obviously a lot of them will go, we haven't got the fight to carry out what we'd need to do in the Championship to get back into the Premier League. And that would be a disaster for this club. So while there's still a chance, I'm kind of on the bones of my arse at the moment with this club and the belief and thinking how we're going to get out of this mess. I just can't see it. I've just got a horrible sinking feeling. I'd love to come on here and be positive just for being positive sake and try and give everyone a reason to be positive, but I can't do that. I won't do that because I have to say it as I see it, and I just can't see us getting out of this mess. I've just seen too much evidence to the contrary. And it goes back to long before Christmas. We've been in this mess, and they could have done something about it, and they didn't. They chose not to. They actually chose not to. And these are the people running the club. These are supposed to be people, the football people, the people at the top, the people that actually are supposed to know what they're doing. And they don't. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. They haven't got a plan. You can see that with Igor Tudor. They don't listen to the fan base. It's disgusting the way this club has been run. And I'll say it again, everybody slagged off Daniel Levy at one time or another, me included, but he would not have let it get to this stage. And the way Vinay has acted, the way Johan Langer has not done their jobs, hang your heads in shame, because this club is going down.
The big worry, Craig, I've just pulled up the Championship table, and when you look at the Championship table, it's just full of ex-Premier League clubs who have no doubt that their boards, their owners and their fans would have said, oh, it's okay, we'll come back the next year. We'll have a reset and we'll come back. Coventry City, Ipswich Town, Middlesbrough, Southampton, Hull, Derby, Norwich, QPR, Watford, Swansea, Birmingham, Stoke, Sheffield United, Charlton, Blackburn, West Brom, Portsmouth, even Leicester are down there, about to be relegated to League One, and also Sheffield Wednesday are bottom of the Championship. So those are all of the ex-Premier League clubs. It is just incredible. Ricky, what are you expecting next week against Brighton? What do you expect Roberto De Zerbi to do? And anything else we haven't covered on the podcast, feel free.
Okay. You know, for me, the thing that was troubling today was I don't think that Sunderland were that particularly good, in the sense of they wasn't like outstanding with their style of play. Like, they had a lot of shots off target, and I felt they really did miss an opportunity. Tottenham missed an opportunity today to get a result, get something out of it, and make a bit of a statement. I think, like Craig said a bit earlier, I think that De Zerbi has seen a couple of players today that he can probably see that is not going to work for the run-in. But you know what? Just on an experimental side, I would love to go in against Brighton and like John was saying, go hell for leather, but go with a 4-2-3-1 and go with Jed Spence on the right wing. Not Kolo Muani. Kolo can be on the bench, but I would go Jed Spence at right wing, Porro right back, Tell on the left, Xavi in the middle, start with Solanke, and then bring on Richie in the second half, you know, and go for it. Absolutely go for it. Chuck Paulinho in there, and then either or. Maybe an Archie Gray. Whoever the other one can be. But let's go for it, man. Let's just go for it. Shackles off. Pressure. I say pressure's off, but in the sense of what we're going to do? Lose another game if we don't. Playing within yourself, playing cautious is the wrong thing to do. If you hold a vase in your hand and you're like, and you walk around going, I'm not going to break it. I'm not going to break it. I'm not going to break it. Don't break it. Don't. At one point, you're going to trip and it's going to break. But if you just walk with it and get it from destination A to B, like you normally would, it gets to where it needs to go. So they playing cautious, play within is not the way forward. It's a point of pride now. It's a point of being in love with football, and it's a point of going out there and just laying it all out on the line and having a few more creative choices within the team to get us playing forward. You know what? I'm always delusional. I've been admittedly delusional when coming to talk about scorelines and predictions. I'd never back my team to lose, even in this madness. So I'm going to go, and why not? I'm going to go 4-1 win. just why not? Why not? Just why not? I mean, it's not. I mean, look, gents, come on. we know that's not. But why not? It's Tottenham. You never know. You never know.
What a way to end. And I want whatever Ricky. Ricky, whatever you're drinking, give it to John.
All of us.
Craig and I, yeah.
I'm just, you know, I've been so fed up, Chris, of moaning and feeling this way. I'm on the other end of that grief cycle. I've got to acceptance of it. And I'm praying that it changes. I'm praying that we see something. I'm praying that something just sparks to life. But my goodness, there's part of me that has just accepted where we are right now, and I don't really see it happening. So why not carry on being delusional? But I'll do it on a positive flex today. You guys know how I am, so why not? Why not? Why not? And if everyone wants a good little giggle tonight, everybody watch Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. If you've never seen it before, oh my goodness, you're in for a treat. If you've seen it before, you know it's one of those films that you can watch 50 times. Watch it tonight, because we can't watch Match of the Day. Haven't been able to watch Match of the Day in 2 seasons right now. So, like, watch Coming to America, put a smile on your face, and we go again. We go again. That's all we can do, is go again and hope for the best.
John, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. I know we've been talking about a defeat, and I know this has been a pretty depressing one, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, back on again soon. Is there anything that you'd like to promote, or any social media channels?
No, only this one. No, I appreciate having me on. And look, we've hit rock bottom, right? So there's only one way from here. So let's hope they turn up Saturday. Saturday against Brighton. Get the 3 points and a win, like he said in that press conference. One win, and we see the landscape looks different.
Yep. As one of the comments says there, if I was Chris, I'd be desperate to get on the road, and I am. I'm about to get on the road. So, John, thanks so much for joining us. Craig, thanks so much. Where can people find you?
Yeah, no problem. At Dearman9 on X, if you want to give me a follow, that'd be great. Gutted to come on here and talk about another loss. As Ricky said, me and him have been on here with you, Chris, or doing it with other people.
Easy.
Spoke about so many losses this season. It's just gets you down. I can't wait for this season to be over, to be honest. But I'm banking on tonight. I'm going to sit down, forget Spurs, and watch the Masters. And I'm going to say to myself, if Rory holds on and wins the Masters, then Spurs are going to stay in the Premier League. If Rory can do it, so can Tottenham. So that's what I'm going to leave you with.
Ricky, so you have a little bit more experience about presenting the podcasts and doing the podcast for Tea Talk and Tottenham. Do you want to host the next 6 podcasts for me?
Listen, I can't do it without you guys. What am I supposed to do? The thing is with me, like sometimes you guys know I like to chat, so it'd just be me. The other 3 windows could just when they do this,
be dummies, yeah.
And there's a 12-hour time limit on StreamYard. You can't actually have anything longer than 12 hours, so you'll be stuffed.
You say that now, bruv. They've never had somebody push the boundaries. I'll push
Ricky,
I'll push it, mate.
I'm not sure people want any more content on Tottenham talking about all these defeats, but if they do, tell us about the podcast.
Tea Talk and Tottenham, episode 12 is out right now. If you type it all in, one word, Tea Talk and Tottenham, all one word, no spaces. Me and my brother Darren Hart, Tottenham has been in our life forever. One of my brothers, grew up with him. We started it because we're normally the positive ones that try and give a positive spin on a bad time. But my goodness, again, it's been a season of moaning. But yeah, just 2 mates sitting together and just talking Tottenham. So yeah, jump in. Episode 12 is out right now. If you can stomach some more Tottenham drama and palavers, but there's a couple of jokes over there as well. We do have a giggle. So yeah, join us and sub up and like and all of that jazz, and be much, much appreciated. But I want to say thank you to all you beautiful people around the world and everybody in the UK today that loves and breathes Tottenham. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for always commenting and liking and sharing this particular podcast. I know it means a lot to some of you fans out there, but it means a lot to us as well, to be able to kind of get these frustrations out and talk through the madness that is Tottenham Hotspur. So thank you to all of those fans that are on this journey with us. Listen, win, lose or draw, win, lose or draw, we'll still be here and we'll still be going. And doesn't matter what league, what division, what purpose, we'll still be here and we'll still be Tottenham. So we'll keep going. Sending you all big love, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ricky, Craig, John, thank you so much for your time this evening talking about the 1-0 defeat at the Stadium of Light against Sunderland. Let's hope that we can get back to winning ways next Saturday against Brighton, which will be Roberto De Zerbi's first home game in charge at Tottenham Hotspur, and let's hope that we can get out of that relegation zone sooner rather than later. 6 cup finals to go. Enjoy your week, everyone. Thanks so much for all of your support. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Until next time, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Yeah.